Hello and welcome to this week's review of Dune Prophecy Episode 2. I am recording on Thanksgiving Day. So, great day, time to ask the question, was this episode a turkey? The answer is yes and no. So, if you watched the last review, I was not very pleased with Episode 1. It wasn't, let's be honest, it wasn't good. This episode had some good, had some bad. It started out real bad, like right away. There's one of the worst sex scenes I've seen, and again, we're trying to be Game of Thrones, but without the artistry or cinematography of Game of Thrones. And I think I haven't seen a worse sex scene since probably the Miami Vice with Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell. This had one of the most unsexy sex scenes I've seen. Not quite Geely, the Jennifer Lopez Ben Affleck movie, kind of bad, but this is pretty bad, and they didn't use the term turkey time. Oh God, I can't believe I remember that line. So we have a bad sex scene at the beginning between the Carino bastard, which first time they've referred to him as a bastard, and some of the worst special effects makeup I've seen for a burned body with the truthsayer Kasha. They show her body and how it's burned. And it was not good. I can't tell if it was practical or digitally done, but it was bad. So there is a little bit of good in this. Desmond, I believe of his name. He's the guy who says that he was swallowed by Shai Halou, and he's the one who has powers, shows up the Carino Palace. So there are scenes between him and the Mother Superior, Valia Harkonnen, which I thought were great. They were fascinating, and it was more of a character back and forth, and I love because, the powers of the Bene Gesserit don't work on him. And there's a couple of scenes like this in it. And I think one of the worst actors in this might be the descendant of Orion Atreides, the sword master of the Carino Palace, who's also like taking Inez, the princess, to Pound Town in the last episode. He's fucking terrible. He's more of like Rings of Power type actor in it. If you watch Rings of Power, there's some bad acting in that. There were like little glints in this that were really good. I mean, this is a better episode than the last one, and I mean, it's a real low bar to overcome. There is in particular a scene at the end that could have been great, but so clumsily done, where the descendant of the last Reverend Mother of the Bene Gesserit, they're having her go through the spice agony, and they do it, and they actually show something that, had it been shot better, would have been brilliant, of showing all the past memories all of a sudden like jumping on her, attacking her all at once. And it kind of shows what Alia in the original Dune series, and probably Leto the Second, where all these past lives are just descending on them and trying to fight for basically to take over. And this one shows it, but it's just, between the way it's shot and how clumsily acted it is in it. And what I hate is Olivia Williams, who's playing Tula Harkonnen, is acting her ass off in this. And the young girl playing it didn't resonate with me. And it's kind of sad because, again, this is something that they've talked about in the books and never really shown. And this one, they showed it, and it didn't resonate well with me. And again, it's frustrating because there are parts in this that are good. But I will say the writing, like some of the dialogue's fucking horrible, especially with the rebellion people, which I feel like it's a throwaway line, other than that Orion Atreides I forget his name. He's that unmemorable. I can't remember his first name, but I'm just calling him the Vampire Diaries actor because that's what his acting is like. And again, the series is frustrating because there are parts of it that, if shot better or acted better, could transcend the show, and they're not. And I see sparks of what the show could be, and the throne room scenes are bad. The Atreides swordmaster is having a sword fight with Princess Inez, which made me think back to the Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, like, playground fight, like, foreplay foo. It just, and I've used Ben Affleck as a reference too many times in this, so that's a bad sign. So if I were going to grade this episode, I'd say it's like a 2.5 out of 5. And mainly it's on the promise of what it could have been versus what it ended up being. And again, there lays the frustration because it's trying so hard to be Game of Thrones with all this political intrigue, but it's not written well. It's not shot well. It's just kind of like, here you go, this will please people, and it's not pleasing. It just isn't. And there's not even enough, like, stuff that, like, references for fans to be like, ooh, yes, to grab onto. It's just, I don't give a fuck about any of these people. I really don't. Like, outside of Tula and Valia Harkonnen, I don't. And I mean, they're pretty much the stars. And again, Olivia Williams is doing great in her role as Tula. But, like, even the Bene Gesserit school, the chapter house, is just, it's like a worse version of Hogwarts. Just, it's not good. And for me, like, Desmond just kind of shows up and he's just like a throwaway Game of Thrones character where he's mysterious, but he's got enough one-liners back at the Reverend Mother where he's like, the worst thing that could ever happen to you and your thing you fear most is not that you won't be heard, it's just that you won't be heard and people won't take heed of it. Or it was something like that. I literally just watched this 5 minutes ago and jumped on it stream to do this. Again, like, if you're a fan of Dune, go ahead and watch it, but don't expect much. And, like, me giving it a 2.5 is probably just me being very, very nice about two scenes that kind of transcended what otherwise was trash. Like, I was tempted to turn it off after the first 5 minutes. Like, the worst sex scene I've seen in a long time. And I hate to keep going back to that, but, like, it was just enough to be like, the acting's bad. Like, even the fake thrusting was just, ew. Like, I've seen trauma movies with some better acting. Anyway, I'll be back for week 3, I guess. Thank you for tuning in, and to the person who commented last week, you were pretty much dead on. So anyway, I hate to disappoint you on Thanksgiving. I do hope that you guys are spending, and ladies are spending, a great time with your family, enjoying them. And my fellow Dune fan, Jen, Comic Books Will Break Your Heart, is still going through a tough time. And if you wanted to donate to help her out on her GoFundMe, it's Keep Jen Reading at GoFundMe.com. That would help her out, make her happy. And if she wasn't sick, she probably would be doing this show with me and airing out her dirty laundry and thoughts about the show. But anyway, thank you and see you next week. Bye-bye.